Grieving mom finds abandoned kid at cemetery. Then she sees what's in its hand and breaks down. The biting wind whipped through Willow Creek Cemetery, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. Amelia shivered, pulling her coat tighter around her. Even the thick wool offered little solace against the chill that seemed to seep into her bones. A chill that mirrored the icy grip of grief that had held her captive for the past 8 years. She knelt beside the smooth, gray granite headstone, its surface cold and unforgiving beneath her touch. Tears welled in her eyes, blurring the inscription. Beloved daughter, Lily Grace, 2015 to 2023. 8 years. 8 years since her vibrant, mischievous Lily, with her infectious laughter and boundless energy, had been snatched away by a drunk driver. 8 years of a grief so profound it threatened to swallow her whole, leaving her adrift in a sea of emptiness and despair. Every Sunday, rain or shine, she made this pilgrimage to Lily's grave, seeking solace in the quiet serenity of the cemetery, a place where the whispers of the past mingled with the rustling leaves and the chirping of birds. It was her sanctuary, a place where she could connect with the memory of her daughter, where she could pour out her heart and feel, however fleetingly, a sense of closeness to the child she had lost. Amelia's life had revolved around Lily. Her husband, Mark, a man who craved freedom and adventure, had walked out when Lily was just a toddler, unable to cope with the demands of fatherhood, the constant needs of a small child. Amelia, a freelance writer, had embraced the flexibility of her work, cherishing every moment with her little girl. Lily was her sun, her moon, her everything. They were two halves of a whole, their bond unbreakable, their love a beacon in a sometimes turbulent world. Now her world was shrouded in a perpetual twilight, the vibrant colors of life muted by the ever-present shadow of grief. The laughter of children, once a source of joy, now pierced her heart like a shard of glass, a constant reminder of what she had lost. The sight of families strolling hand in hand, their faces lit with happiness, filled her with a bitter envy, a longing for the life that had been cruelly snatched away. The cemetery, usually a place of somber reflection, was unusually busy today. A group of mourners huddled around a fresh grave, their sobs echoing through the stillness, their grief a raw and palpable presence. Children chased butterflies amongst the headstones, their laughter a jarring counterpoint to Amelia's sorrow. She found herself resenting their joy, their carefree innocence a painful reminder of the life that had been stolen from her daughter. As she knelt by Lily's grave, tracing the engraved letters with trembling fingers, a soft whimper, like a kitten's cry, caught her attention. It seemed to be coming from behind a large oak tree, its gnarled branches casting long, skeletal shadows across the manicured lawn. Curiosity piqued, Amelia cautiously made her way towards the sound, her heart pounding with a mixture of apprehension and a strange, unfamiliar sense of anticipation. There, nestled amongst the exposed roots of the ancient oak, like a discarded doll, she found a baby, no more than a year old, with wide, tear-filled eyes that mirrored the vastness of the winter sky and chubby cheeks smeared with dirt. The child was wrapped in a thin, faded blanket, shivering in the cool morning air, its tiny body trembling with cold and fear. Amelia's heart clenched. Who would abandon such a helpless creature in this place? A place of death and sorrow. As she reached out to comfort the crying child, her fingers brushing against the soft, downy skin of its cheek, something glinting in its tiny fist caught her eye. It was a locket, a delicate silver heart, tarnished with age, engraved with a single word, Lily. Amelia's breath hitched, her mind reeling. This couldn't be a coincidence. A wave of dizziness washed over her, and she sank to her knees, the locket clutched in her hand, its cold metal burning into her palm. The locket felt strangely familiar, its weight and texture evoking a distant memory. It was identical to one Amelia had given Lily on her first birthday, a tiny replica of her own, a symbol of the unbreakable bond between mother and daughter. Lily had cherished it, rarely taking it off, its delicate chain a constant presence against her soft skin. But how could this baby have it? Had it been buried with Lily? No, that was impossible. Amelia had dressed Lily for her final rest. Her small coffin adorned with her favorite toys, her beloved teddy bear tucked beside her. There was no locket. Panic clawed at her throat, constricting her breath, making her head spin. Was this some cruel prank? A morbid joke designed to torment her, to reopen the wounds that had barely begun to heal? Or was there something more, something inexplicable, something supernatural at play? She looked at the baby again, its cries softening into hiccuping sobs, its tiny chest heaving with each breath. The child's eyes, a deep shade of blue, were eerily similar to Lily's, the same shade of azure that had captivated Amelia from the moment her daughter was born. A shiver ran down her spine, a prickle of unease that mingled with a strange sense of recognition. Amelia couldn't leave the baby here. It was getting colder, the wind picking up, and the child needed warmth, nourishment, and comfort. But what should she do? Call the police? Social services? The thought of this vulnerable infant being shuffled through the system, passed from one stranger to another, filled her with dread. She couldn't bear the thought of this child, this innocent soul, experiencing further abandonment and neglect. An idea began to form in her mind, a reckless, impulsive idea that both terrified and exhilarated her. She would take the baby home. Just for a little while, she told herself, her conscience battling with her maternal instincts. Just until she figured things out, until she could unravel the mystery surrounding this child and the locket that bore her daughter's name. Gently scooping the child into her arms, Amelia hurried back to her car, her heart pounding in her chest like a drum, her mind a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. The baby, sensing her warmth and comfort, snuggled against her, its cries finally subsiding, replaced by soft whimpers and the occasional hiccup. As Amelia drove away from the cemetery, the iron gates clanging shut behind her like the closing of a chapter, a strange sense of purpose filled her. It was as if Lily, in some inexplicable way, had sent this child to her, a gift from beyond the grave, a chance to love again, to heal the wounds that had festered for so long. Back at her cozy cottage, nestled amidst a riot of colorful flowers and climbing vines, Amelia settled the baby in Lily's old crib. The room, untouched since Lily's death, was a shrine to her daughter, a testament to the love that had been so abruptly extinguished. Stuffed animals lined the shelves, their once vibrant colors faded with time. Picture books overflowed from baskets, their pages filled with stories that Amelia had read to Lily countless times, her voice echoing in the silence of the room. Lily's drawings, a riot of color and imagination, adorned the walls, each stroke a reminder of her daughter's vibrant spirit. A wave of grief washed over Amelia, threatening to drown her in its intensity. But it was tempered by a newfound tenderness towards the abandoned child, a sense of responsibility and protectiveness that stirred within her, a flicker of hope in the darkness that had enveloped her for so long. She examined the baby more closely, her gaze lingering on its delicate features. It was a girl, with a tuft of fine blonde hair, the color of spun gold, and delicate features that hinted at a future beauty. Amelia's heart ached with a love she thought she'd never feel again, a love that was both familiar and new, a love that was tinged with sorrow but also with a glimmer of hope. She warmed some milk, her hands clumsy and unfamiliar with the task, her mind filled with memories of feeding Lily, of the warm weight of her daughter in her arms, the sweet scent of her baby skin. The baby latched on eagerly, her tiny hand gripping Amelia's finger with surprising strength, her eyes closed in contentment. As the baby fed, Amelia noticed a small birthmark on her arm, a tiny heart-shaped mark, a faint blush against her pale skin. It was identical to one Lily had had, a mark that Amelia had kissed countless times, a mark that had been as familiar to her as her own reflection. Amelia gasped, her mind reeling, the pieces of the puzzle slowly falling into place. This was no coincidence. This child was somehow connected to Lily. But how? Exhausted but unable to sleep, her mind a whirlwind of questions and theories, Amelia spent the rest of the night researching missing babies, scouring online forums and news articles, her fingers flying across the keyboard, her eyes scanning the screen for any clue, any lead that might explain the mystery surrounding the child in her care. She found nothing that matched the baby. No reports of missing infants with blonde hair and blue eyes. No mention of a locket with the name Lily. Frustrated, she turned her attention to the locket, its intricate details illuminated by the soft glow of the bedside lamp. It was old, tarnished with age, but the inscription was clear: Lily, etched in a delicate script that spoke of a bygone era. She remembered her grandmother, a woman steeped in folklore and superstition, her voice husky with age, telling her stories of objects carrying the spirits of their owners, of lost souls finding new vessels, of love transcending the boundaries of life and death. Could this be possible? Could this baby somehow be carrying a part of Lily's spirit, a fragment of her essence reborn into this tiny, vulnerable form? The thought, though outlandish, brought a strange comfort to Amelia, a glimmer of hope in the darkness that had enveloped her for so long. The next morning, driven by a need for answers, a desire to unravel the mystery surrounding the locket and the child in her care, Amelia decided to visit a local antique jewelry store, hoping to learn more about the piece, to decipher its history and perhaps uncover its secrets. The owner, a wizened old man with a magnifying glass permanently attached to his eye, his face a roadmap of wrinkles and time, examined the locket with interest, his fingers gently tracing its delicate contours. "This is a very old locket," he said, his voice raspy with age, each word a whisper from the past. "Early 19th century, I'd say. The craftsmanship is exquisite, a testament to a bygone era when artisans poured their heart and soul into their creations." He pointed to a tiny hallmark on the back, a symbol barely visible to the naked eye. "See this symbol? It's the mark of a renowned silversmith from a nearby village, a man known for his skill and his eccentricities. Legend has it that he imbued his pieces with protective magic, weaving spells and incantations into their very essence." Amelia's interest peaked, her mind racing with possibilities. "Protective magic?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. The old man chuckled, a dry, crackling sound that echoed through the dusty confines of the shop. "Old wives' tales, most likely," he said, his eyes twinkling with amusement. "But there are those who believe that objects can hold memories, even emotions, that they can become vessels for the spirits of their owners. Perhaps this locket belonged to someone named Lily, and her essence is somehow attached to it, her spirit lingering within its delicate confines." Amelia's heart pounded, her intuition screaming that there was more to this locket than met the eye. This was confirmation, however tenuous, of her suspicions, a validation of the strange connection she felt to the abandoned child. She left the store with a renewed sense of determination, her mind buzzing with questions, her heart filled with a mixture of hope and trepidation. She would uncover the truth about this baby, even if it meant delving into the realm of the supernatural, even if it meant challenging the very foundations of her beliefs. Back home, the familiar scent of lavender and dust greeting her like an old friend, she examined the baby again, her gaze searching for any other clues, any other signs that might connect this child to her lost daughter. As she changed her diaper, her fingers gently navigating the folds of her soft skin, she noticed a faint scar on the child's back, a small, crescent-shaped mark, pale against her porcelain skin. Amelia froze, her breath catching in her throat, her mind flooded with memories. Lily had had an identical scar, a memento from a fall in the playground, a scar that Amelia had traced with her fingers countless times, a scar that had been as familiar to her as her own heartbeat. Tears streamed down Amelia's face, blurring her vision, her heart swelling with a mixture of grief and wonder. This wasn't just a coincidence. This baby was connected to Lily, perhaps even a reincarnation of her beloved daughter, her spirit reborn into this tiny, vulnerable form. The thought, once a fleeting whisper in the back of her mind, now took root, blossoming into a conviction that defied logic and reason. The revelation filled Amelia with a mix of awe and terror, a whirlwind of emotions that threatened to overwhelm her. If this baby was truly connected to Lily, what did it mean? Was it her responsibility to raise her, to guide her, to nurture the spark of Lily that she saw in her eyes? Or was she interfering with something beyond her comprehension, something sacred and inviolable? Despite her fears, despite the doubts that gnawed at her conscience, Amelia felt a powerful urge to protect this child, to love her, to cherish her as she had cherished Lily. She decided to keep the baby, to raise her as her own, to defy the whispers of doubt and the warnings of reason. It was a reckless decision, fraught with potential complications, a leap of faith into the unknown. But Amelia's heart, guided by a force beyond logic, told her it was the right one. She named the baby Hope, a symbol of the new beginning she craved, a beacon of light in the darkness that had enveloped her for so long. The first few weeks were a blur of sleepless nights, diaper changes, and endless bottles, a whirlwind of exhaustion and exhilaration. But amidst the chaos, amidst the constant demands of a newborn, Amelia felt a sense of purpose she hadn't experienced since Lily's death. A reason to wake up each morning, a reason to smile, a reason to live. Hope was a demanding baby, her cries a constant reminder of her needs, her tiny fists clenched in frustration, her face contorted in a symphony of expressions that ranged from anger to joy. But her cries were music to Amelia's ears, a symphony of life that filled the silence that had haunted her for so long. Her smiles, like rays of sunshine breaking through the clouds, were a balm to her wounded soul, a reminder that joy was still possible, that love could still bloom even in the most barren of landscapes. However, Amelia's decision wasn't without consequences. Her friends and family, concerned about her mental state, about the fragile thread that held her sanity together, urged her to contact the authorities, to relinquish the child to the care of social services. They saw her attachment to Hope as an unhealthy obsession, a manifestation of her unresolved grief, a desperate attempt to replace the daughter she had lost. Amelia, however, refused to listen, her resolve strengthened by the conviction that she was doing what was best for Hope, that Lily, in some inexplicable way, would have wanted her to protect this innocent soul. The whispers started in the local supermarket, the aisles filled with judging eyes and hushed conversations, the pitying glances in the park, the playground filled with the laughter of children, a laughter that now held a bittersweet edge. People began to avoid her, their eyes filled with judgment and suspicion, their whispers like daggers to her heart. Amelia felt isolated, alone in her conviction, a lone wolf howling at the moon, her voice lost in the vastness of the night. Even her closest friend, Sarah, a woman who had been her rock through the darkest days of her grief, expressed her concerns, her voice filled with worry and a touch of fear. "Amelia, I know you're grieving. I know the pain is unbearable," Sarah pleaded, her hand reaching out to touch Amelia's arm, her touch gentle but firm. "But this isn't the answer. This baby needs a proper home, a stable family, a chance at a normal life. You can't just keep her without any legal rights, without any support. You're not thinking clearly, you're letting your grief cloud your judgment." Amelia's resolve wavered, her heart torn between her love for Hope and the fear of losing her, between her desire to protect her and the knowledge that she might be putting her at risk. She knew Sarah was right, that her actions were reckless, that she was treading a dangerous path. But the thought of giving up Hope, of relinquishing the child who had rekindled her will to live, was unbearable, a pain more profound than any she had ever experienced. She clung to the belief that she was doing what was best for the child, that Lily would have wanted her to protect this innocent soul, that somehow this was all part of a greater plan, a plan that she couldn't yet comprehend. The situation came to a head one cold, rainy afternoon, when a social worker, alerted by an anonymous tip, her face etched with concern and a hint of suspicion, arrived at Amelia's doorstep. Amelia, panicked, her heart pounding in her chest, tried to hide Hope, to shield her from the prying eyes of the authorities, to protect her from the system that she feared would swallow her whole. But it was too late. The social worker, a stern-faced woman with a no-nonsense attitude, her voice sharp and official, assessed the situation with a critical eye, her gaze sweeping over the cluttered living room, the toys scattered across the floor, the baby clothes draped over the furniture. "Ms. Walker," she said, her voice cutting through the silence like a knife. "I'm here to inquire about the child in your care. We received a report expressing concern about her well-being. about your ability to provide a safe and stable environment. Amelia, her voice trembling, her hands clasped tightly together, tried to explain. She spoke of finding hope in the cemetery, of the locket, of the uncanny resemblance to Lily, of the inexplicable connection she felt to this child. The social worker, however, remained unimpressed, her expression hardening, her eyes narrowing with skepticism. "Ms. Walker, I understand you're grieving," she said, her voice devoid of empathy, her words a recitation of official protocol. "But this is a serious matter. This child needs proper care, a stable environment, and you are not her legal guardian. You have no right to keep her, no matter how strong your feelings may be. I'm afraid I have no choice but to take her into protective custody." Hope, sensing the tension in the air, the shift in Amelia's demeanor, began to cry, her cries escalating into a wail that tore at Amelia's heart. Amelia's world crumbled around her, the fragile hope that had sustained her for the past few weeks shattering into a million pieces. She pleaded with the social worker, her voice cracking with desperation, promising to do whatever it took to legalize her guardianship, to provide hope with a loving home, to be the mother that she deserved. But the woman was unmoved, her expression resolute, her duty clear. Hope was taken away, her cries echoing in Amelia's ears long after the social worker's car had disappeared down the lane. The sound a haunting reminder of her loss, of her powerlessness against the forces that governed her life. Amelia felt utterly lost, adrift in a sea of despair, the emptiness more profound than she had ever experienced, a gaping hole in her soul that threatened to consume her. She had lost Lily, and now Hope, the child who had rekindled her will to live, the child who had brought a glimmer of light into her darkened world, was gone too. The house, once filled with the echoes of Hope's laughter, the patter of her tiny feet, the sweet scent of baby powder, was now unbearably silent. The silence a suffocating presence, a constant reminder of her loss. The toys that had littered the floor, the clothes that had hung on the washing line, the high chair that had stood sentinel in the kitchen, all were silent witnesses to the life that had been so abruptly snatched away. Amelia wandered through the empty rooms, her footsteps echoing in the silence, her heart heavy with grief, her mind filled with images of hope, her laughter, her tears, her sweet, innocent face. She curled up on the sofa, Lily's favorite blanket wrapped around her, the scent of lavender and childhood memories filling her senses. She closed her eyes, tears streaming down her face, her body racked with sobs. She had failed Hope just as she had failed Lily. She was a failure as a mother, a failure as a human being. While Amelia grappled with the loss of Hope, her world shrinking to the confines of her grief-stricken home, a parallel story was unfolding, a story of desperation, resilience, and the enduring power of maternal love. A young woman named Clara, heavily pregnant and alone, her belly swollen with the promise of new life, was desperately searching for a safe place to give birth to her child, a sanctuary from the harsh realities of a world that had turned its back on her. Abandoned by the baby's father, a man who had promised her the world but delivered only heartbreak, and estranged from her family, their disapproval a heavy weight on her shoulders, Clara found herself adrift in a world that seemed to have no place for her, a world that judged her, condemned her, and offered no solace. She had heard whispers of a sanctuary, a hidden community nestled deep in the woods, a place where women in need could find shelter and support, a haven from the storms of life. The whispers spoke of a place where women could live in harmony with nature, where their children could grow up free from the constraints of society, where they could find acceptance and belonging. With a mix of hope and trepidation, her heart filled with a longing for safety and a fear of the unknown, Clara embarked on a journey to find this elusive haven, a journey that would test her strength, her courage, and her faith in humanity. Her journey was fraught with challenges, each step a test of her endurance, each day a battle against the elements and the harsh realities of life on the margins. She slept rough, seeking shelter under bridges and in abandoned buildings, her body aching, her spirit weary. She relied on the kindness of strangers for food and shelter, their generosity a beacon of hope in a world that seemed determined to crush her. Her pregnancy was difficult, her body weakened by stress and malnutrition, her energy sapped by the constant struggle for survival. But Clara was driven by a fierce determination to protect her unborn child, to give it a chance at a better life, a life free from the pain and hardship that had marked her own existence. She carried her child like a precious cargo, a beacon of hope in the darkness, a testament to her resilience and her unwavering love. After weeks of wandering, her body weary, her spirit battered but unbroken, she stumbled upon the sanctuary, a cluster of rustic cabins nestled amongst ancient trees, their weathered wood blending seamlessly with the surrounding forest. The air was filled with the sounds of nature, the chirping of birds, the rustling of leaves, the gentle murmur of a nearby stream. A sense of peace settled over Clara, a feeling of belonging that she had never experienced before. She was welcomed with open arms by the women who lived there, their faces etched with stories of hardship and resilience, their eyes filled with a warmth that melted Clara's fear. They were women who had known pain, who had faced adversity, who had found solace and strength in the bonds of sisterhood. Clara found solace in their company, sharing her fears and hopes for her child, her voice trembling with emotion, her tears flowing freely in the safe embrace of these women who understood her struggles, who shared her dreams of a better future. She learned about the sanctuary's history, how it had been founded by a group of women fleeing persecution, seeking a place where they could live in peace and harmony, where they could raise their children free from the constraints of a society that sought to control and oppress them. As her due date approached, Clara felt a growing sense of calm, a sense of anticipation mixed with a touch of fear. She knew she was not alone, that she had found a community that would support her and her child, a place where she could finally find peace and belonging. The sanctuary, with its connection to nature, its spirit of compassion, and its unwavering belief in the power of women, offered a glimmer of hope in a world that had seemed dark and unforgiving. The loss of hope forced Amelia to confront the depths of her grief, to acknowledge the gaping wound in her heart that refused to heal. The silence of her home, once a sanctuary, now echoed with the ghosts of her past, the laughter of Lily, the cries of hope, a symphony of loss that threatened to drown her in its intensity. Seeking solace, seeking a lifeline in the sea of despair that threatened to engulf her, she sought therapy, hoping to find a way to navigate the overwhelming sadness that had become her constant companion. Her therapist, Dr. Evans, a kind and patient woman with a gentle voice and a calming presence, encouraged her to explore her feelings, to delve into the depths of her grief, to find healthy ways to cope with the loss that had shattered her world. Through therapy, Amelia began to understand that her attachment to hope had been fueled by her unresolved grief for Lily, a desperate attempt to fill the void in her heart, to recapture the love that had been so cruelly snatched away. She had projected her longing for her daughter onto this abandoned child, seeking to recreate the bond that had defined her life, to find a sense of purpose in the midst of her despair. Dr. Evans helped Amelia to differentiate between her love for Lily and her need to heal, to recognize that her attachment to hope was not a betrayal of her daughter's memory, but a manifestation of her own deep-seated pain. She encouraged her to find ways to honor Lily's memory while also moving forward with her own life, to find a balance between cherishing the past and embracing the present. One day, while browsing through old photo albums, her fingers tracing the faded images of her childhood, a memory surfaced, a forgotten passion for helping children in need, a desire to make a difference in the world, to offer comfort and support to those who had also experienced loss and abandonment. A spark ignited within her, a flicker of hope in the darkness, a desire to channel her grief into something positive, to find meaning in her suffering. She decided to volunteer at a local children's shelter, a place where children who had been abandoned, neglected, or abused found temporary refuge, a place where they could find safety, comfort, and a glimmer of hope. She offered her time and compassion to these children, her heart aching for their pain, her spirit yearning to make a difference in their lives. At the shelter, she met a young boy named Ethan, a quiet, withdrawn child with haunted eyes and a guarded heart. Ethan had been abandoned by his parents at a young age, his childhood a series of foster homes and broken promises. He was distrustful of adults, his heart shielded by a wall of cynicism, his spirit wounded by years of neglect. Amelia felt drawn to Ethan, recognizing in him the same vulnerability and longing for connection that she had seen in Hope, the same yearning for love and acceptance that mirrored her own. She began spending more time with him, reading to him, playing games, and simply listening to his stories, her heart aching for his pain, her spirit reaching out to his. Slowly, Ethan began to open up, his smiles becoming more frequent, his laughter filling the once quiet corners of the shelter. He began to trust Amelia, to see in her a source of stability and unconditional love, a safe harbor in the storm of his young life. Amelia found a sense of purpose in her connection with Ethan, a way to channel her grief into something positive, to make a difference in the life of a child who desperately needed love and support. She realized that she didn't need to replace Lily or Hope to find fulfillment, that she could honor their memory by offering love and support to other children in need, by being a beacon of hope in a world that often seemed dark and unforgiving. Her relationship with Ethan blossomed, bringing healing and joy to both their lives. Amelia became a mentor, a friend, and a source of stability for Ethan, a constant presence in his ever-changing world. She nurtured his spirit, encouraged his dreams, and helped him to navigate the challenges of growing up in a world that had often been cruel and unfair. Ethan, in turn, helped Amelia to rediscover the capacity for love and connection that she thought she had lost, to find joy in the simple things, to appreciate the beauty of life even in the midst of sorrow. He reminded her of the innocence and wonder of childhood, of the resilience of the human spirit, of the power of love to heal even the deepest wounds. Their bond deepened, their connection a testament to the healing power of human connection, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, love can find a way to bloom, to bring light and warmth to the most barren of landscapes. Months passed, each day a step forward on the path of healing, each season a reminder of the cyclical nature of life, of the constant ebb and flow of joy and sorrow. Amelia continued to volunteer at the shelter, finding solace in her work with the children, her heart filled with a sense of purpose, her spirit renewed by the resilience and hope she witnessed in their young lives. Her grief for Lily remained, a constant presence in the background of her life, a shadow that softened with time but never truly disappeared. But it was no longer the all-consuming force it once was, no longer the raging torrent that threatened to sweep her away. She had learned to live with her loss, to cherish the memories of her daughter while embracing the present, to find a balance between honoring the past and embracing the future. One crisp autumn afternoon, the leaves a riot of color against the clear blue sky, Amelia received a call from her therapist, Dr. Evans, her voice filled with an urgency that sent a shiver down Amelia's spine. "Amelia," Dr. Evans said, her voice tight with emotion, "I think you need to come to my office right away. There's something you need to see, something that might be important to you." Intrigued and slightly apprehensive, her heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and dread, Amelia rushed to Dr. Evans' office, her mind racing with possibilities, her imagination conjuring up 1,000 scenarios, each more outlandish than the last. Dr. Evans, her face pale and serious, her eyes filled with a mixture of concern and hope, handed Amelia a newspaper article, the headline screaming in bold letters, "Mysterious Sanctuary Discovered in Local Woods." The article described a raid on a secluded community where women and children were living off the grid, their existence a challenge to the norms of society, their lifestyle a mystery to the authorities. The authorities suspected the community of harboring fugitives and engaging in illegal activities, their suspicions fueled by fear and prejudice. Among the photos accompanying the article was a picture of a young woman being escorted by police officers, her face etched with defiance and fear, her body shielding a small bundle in her arms. Amelia gasped, her breath catching in her throat, her heart pounding in her chest. It was Clara, the pregnant woman she had seen in the cemetery months ago, the woman whose image had haunted her dreams, the woman who held the key to the mystery surrounding Hope. But that wasn't what made Amelia's blood run cold, what sent a wave of shock and disbelief through her body. In Clara's arms, nestled against her chest, was a baby with a tuft of blonde hair and familiar blue eyes, a baby whose face was etched in her memory, a baby whose presence sent a jolt of recognition through her soul. It was Hope, the baby she had found in the cemetery, the child she believed was connected to Lily, the child who had been taken from her, the child who had filled her life with love and laughter, only to be snatched away by the cruel hand of fate. But how? Why was she with Clara? 1,000 questions swirled in Amelia's mind, each one a sharp shard of confusion and disbelief. Dr. Evans, sensing Amelia's distress, her body trembling, her eyes wide with shock, spoke softly, her voice a calming presence in the storm of Amelia's emotions. "Amelia, I know this is a lot to take in," she said, her hand gently resting on Amelia's arm, her touch a source of comfort and support. "But I believe this is your chance to get Hope back. You need to go to the authorities, tell them your story. They need to know that Hope has a home, that you're waiting for her, that you love her." Amelia, her mind reeling, her heart filled with a mixture of hope and fear, knew that Dr. Evans was right. This was her chance to reunite with Hope, to finally unravel the mystery surrounding her, to bring her back to the home where she belonged. She had to act fast, to seize this opportunity before it slipped through her fingers like sand through an hourglass. Armed with the newspaper article and a renewed sense of determination, her heart pounding with a mixture of hope and fear, Amelia went to the police station, the imposing building looming before her like a fortress of justice. She recounted her story, her voice trembling with emotion, her words tumbling over each other in her eagerness to be heard, to be believed. She spoke of the discovery of Hope in the cemetery, of the locket, of the uncanny resemblance to Lily, of the inexplicable connection she felt to this child, a connection that defied logic and reason. The officers, initially skeptical, their faces hardened by years of dealing with deceit and deception, were intrigued by her account, their curiosity piqued by the unusual circumstances, the strange coincidence of the locket, the uncanny resemblance between the two children. They promised to investigate, to compare Hope's DNA with Amelia's to determine if there was any biological connection, to explore the possibility that this was more than just a case of mistaken identity, more than just a desperate woman clinging to a fantasy. Amelia then contacted a lawyer, a seasoned professional with a compassionate heart, his reputation for fighting for the underdog preceding him. She explained the situation, her voice filled with desperation and hope, her words painting a picture of love, loss, and the unwavering belief in the power of family. She sought legal advice on how to gain custody of Hope, how to navigate the labyrinthine world of the legal system, how to fight for the child who had captured her heart, the child who she believed was destined to be hers. The lawyer, his eyes filled with understanding, his heart touched by her story, agreed to take on her case pro bono, his belief in justice outweighing his need for financial gain. He assured Amelia that they had a strong case, given the circumstances surrounding Hope's abandonment and Amelia's clear desire to provide a loving home, a stable environment, a chance at a better life. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of legal proceedings, DNA tests, and interviews with social workers, each encounter a test of Amelia's patience, her resilience, her unwavering belief in the power of love to conquer all obstacles. She cooperated fully, answering every question with honesty and sincerity, her hope growing with each passing day, each hurdle overcome, each piece of the puzzle falling into place. The DNA test confirmed that she was not Hope's biological mother, dashing her hopes of a blood connection, of a scientific validation of the bond she felt with the child. But the police investigation revealed that Clara had no known relatives, that she had been living a nomadic lifestyle before finding refuge in the sanctuary, her past shrouded in mystery, her identity as elusive as the sanctuary itself. The authorities, their initial skepticism replaced by a grudging respect for Amelia's tenacity and her unwavering love for Hope, were sympathetic to her story, recognizing her genuine desire to provide a loving home, a stable environment, a chance at a better life for a child who had known only hardship and uncertainty. They agreed to grant her temporary custody while they continued to investigate Clara's background and determine the best course of action for Hope's future. Their decision a beacon of hope in the darkness, a testament to the power of love to transcend the boundaries of logic and reason. Amelia was overjoyed, her heart soaring with a mixture of relief and gratitude, her spirit renewed by the prospect of reuniting with Hope, of bringing her back to the home where she belonged, of showering her with the love and affection she had been denied for so long. She prepared her home for Hope's return, transforming Lily's old room into a nursery once again. The walls adorned with colorful murals, the shelves filled with toys and books, the air filled with anticipation and love. She bought new clothes, soft and cuddly, toys that promised hours of fun and laughter, books filled with stories of adventure and wonder. She wanted to shower Hope with all the love and affection she had been denied, to make up for the lost time, to create a haven of warmth and security where Hope could heal and thrive. The day Hope returned was filled with both joy and trepidation, a mixture of excitement and anxiety that churned in Amelia's stomach like a whirlwind. Hope, now a toddler, her blonde hair a halo around her cherubic face, her blue eyes wide with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension, was initially hesitant, her small body tense with uncertainty, her gaze darting around the unfamiliar surroundings. But Amelia's gentle touch, her soothing voice, her warm embrace, soon calmed her fears, melting the ice around her heart, awakening the memory of love and security that had been buried deep within her. Hope reached out for Amelia, her small arms wrapping around her neck in a hug that melted Amelia's heart, a hug that spoke volumes of the unspoken bond between them, a bond that had been forged in the crucible of loss and rediscovery. Life with Hope was not without its challenges, its moments of frustration and despair. Hope had experienced trauma and neglect in her early life, her formative months spent in a world of uncertainty and fear, her sense of security shattered by the abandonment she had endured. She struggled with separation anxiety, her cries echoing through the house whenever Amelia left her sight, her nightmares a nightly reminder of the darkness she had known. But Amelia, drawing on her newfound understanding of childhood trauma, her heart filled with empathy and compassion, patiently worked to build trust and security, creating a safe and nurturing environment for Hope to heal, a haven where she could feel loved, protected, and cherished. She enrolled Hope in playgroups and music classes, surrounding her with positive experiences and opportunities for social interaction, her laughter echoing through the brightly colored rooms, her smiles a beacon of hope in the darkness that had once enveloped her. She sought advice from child psychologists and parenting experts, determined to provide Hope with the best possible care, to nurture her spirit, to help her blossom into the happy, confident child she was meant to be. Gradually, Hope began to thrive, her laughter filling the house with a joy that Amelia had thought she would never experience again. Her nightmares subsided, replaced by sweet dreams and peaceful sleep, her cries of anxiety replaced by giggles and playful squeals. Her energy, once a source of frustration, now filled the house with a vibrancy that Amelia had almost forgotten, a reminder of the preciousness of life, of the resilience of the human spirit. Amelia, watching Hope blossom, her heart swelling with love and gratitude, felt a sense of fulfillment she had never thought possible, a sense of purpose that transcended the pain of her past, a sense of hope that illuminated her future. One sunny spring afternoon, the air filled with the scent of blooming flowers and the joyful chirping of birds, Amelia and Hope were playing in the park, their laughter echoing through the trees, their bond a testament to the healing power of love. Hope, now a vibrant and energetic toddler, her blonde hair catching the sunlight like spun gold, chased butterflies across the lush green grass, her laughter a melody that filled Amelia's heart with joy. As Amelia watched Hope playing, her heart swelling with love and gratitude, she noticed a familiar figure sitting on a nearby bench, her posture slumped, her gaze fixed on the ground, her body radiating an aura of sadness and regret. It was Clara, her face etched with the hardships she had endured, her eyes filled with a longing that mirrored Amelia's own. Amelia hesitated, unsure how to approach her, her heart filled with a mixture of apprehension and compassion. She remembered the anger and resentment she had felt towards Clara, the woman who had given birth to Hope, the woman who had abandoned her in the cemetery, the woman who had unwittingly caused her so much pain. But then she saw the longing in Clara's eyes as she watched Hope playing, the maternal love that shone through the veil of sadness, the yearning for connection that resonated with her own deepest desires. Her heart softened, her anger melting away, replaced by a wave of empathy and understanding. She approached Clara, her footsteps soft on the grass, her voice gentle and understanding, her words a balm to the wounded spirit she saw before her. "Clara," she said, her voice barely above a whisper, "I know you must be missing Hope terribly. I want you to know that she's safe and happy, and I want you to be a part of her life." Clara looked up, her eyes widening in surprise, her face etched with a mixture of hope and disbelief. Tears welled in her eyes as she spoke, her voice trembling with emotion, her words a confession of regret and a plea for forgiveness. "I never wanted to abandon her," she said, her voice barely audible, her gaze fixed on Hope, who was now building a sandcastle with a group of other children. "But I was desperate, alone, afraid. I thought I was doing what was best for her, protecting her from a world that had no place for us." Amelia listened patiently as Clara explained her circumstances, the difficult choices she had made, the regret that haunted her dreams, the love that burned within her heart like an unquenchable flame. Amelia, remembering her own struggles, her own desperate attempts to protect Hope, felt a surge of empathy, a recognition of the shared bond of motherhood that transcended their differences, their past conflicts. She realized that Clara, like herself, had been driven by love and fear, making decisions in the best interests of her child, her actions guided by a maternal instinct that defied logic and reason. She saw in Clara a reflection of her own vulnerability, her own capacity for making mistakes, her own deep-seated desire to protect the child she loved. Amelia offered Clara a chance to visit Hope, to rebuild their relationship, to create a bond that had been severed by circumstance and misunderstanding. She offered her a chance to be a mother again, to share in the joy of watching Hope grow and thrive, to be a part of the family that had formed around this extraordinary child. Clara, overwhelmed with gratitude, her eyes shining with tears of joy and relief, accepted, her heart filled with a hope that she had thought she had lost forever. From that day forward, Clara became a regular visitor in Hope's life, her presence a source of joy and comfort, her love a precious gift to both Hope and Amelia. She played with Hope, her laughter mingling with Hope's, their joy a symphony of rediscovered connection. She read to her, her voice soothing and familiar, her stories weaving a tapestry of love and imagination. She shared stories of her own childhood, her words painting a picture of a life filled with both hardship and resilience, a life that had led her to this moment, this unexpected reunion, this chance to reclaim the love she had almost lost. Amelia, witnessing the bond between mother and daughter, their connection growing stronger with each visit, felt a sense of peace, a sense of completion that she had never thought possible. She had found a way to honor Lily's memory, not by replacing her, but by creating a family built on love, compassion, and forgiveness, a family that embraced the complexities of life, the unexpected twists and turns that led to unexpected blessings. The journey had been long and arduous, a winding path filled with grief, loss, and unexpected twists and turns. But through it all, Amelia had emerged stronger, wiser, and more compassionate, her spirit tempered by the fires of adversity, her heart softened by the balm of love. She had learned to navigate the depths of her grief, to confront the pain that had threatened to consume her, to find meaning in her loss, and to embrace new possibilities, new beginnings, new forms of love and connection. She had discovered the power of forgiveness, both for herself and for others, recognizing that mistakes are inevitable, that regrets are a part of life, but that forgiveness is the key to healing, to moving forward, to creating a future filled with hope and possibility. She had learned to let go of the past, to cherish the memories of Lily while embracing the present and looking towards the future, to find a balance between honoring the past and embracing the present, to live fully in the moment while cherishing the memories that shaped her life. Her relationship with Hope had brought healing and joy to her life, filling the void left by Lily's death with a love that was both familiar and new, a love that honored the past while embracing the present, a love that was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the enduring power of hope. She had found a new purpose in motherhood, a chance to nurture and protect another innocent soul, to guide her through the challenges of life, to shower her with the love and affection she had been denied, to be the mother she had always dreamed of being. Her connection with Clara had taught her the importance of empathy and understanding, the power of forgiveness to heal wounds and build bridges, the beauty of creating family in unexpected ways, of finding connection and belonging in the most unlikely of circumstances. Amelia realized that her journey had not been about finding a replacement for Lily, but about rediscovering herself, her capacity for love, her ability to create a family built on compassion and resilience, a family that defied the traditional norms, a family that embraced the complexities of life and the beauty of human connection. She had come to understand that grief is not a linear process, but a journey with unexpected twists and turns, a journey that can lead to despair, but also to growth, healing, and a deeper appreciation for life, a journey that can transform pain into purpose, loss into love. Amelia, reflecting on her experiences, her heart filled with gratitude and wonder, felt a sense of peace, a sense of completion that transcended the pain of her past, a sense of hope that illuminated her future. She was grateful for the love she had shared with Lily, for the lessons she had learned through grief, for the new family she had created with Hope and Clara, a family that was born out of loss but blossomed into love. She knew that Lily would be proud of her, that her spirit lived on in the love and laughter that filled their home, in the bond that united them, in the resilience that defined their journey. Years passed, each season bringing new joys and challenges, new milestones and memories. Hope grew into a vibrant and loving child, her laughter echoing through the house, her spirit a beacon of light, her presence a constant reminder of the resilience of the human spirit, the enduring power of love. Surrounded by the warmth and support of her unconventional family, Hope blossomed, her personality a unique blend of Amelia's gentle spirit and Clara's fiery determination. She embraced the complexities of her identity, her heart filled with love for both her mothers, her spirit nurtured by the unique bond that united them. Amelia, Clara, and Hope created a life filled with laughter, joy, and a deep appreciation for the preciousness of life. Their home a haven of warmth and acceptance, their bond a testament to the power of love to heal and transform. They celebrated birthdays and holidays, their traditions a blend of old and new, their rituals a reflection of their unique family dynamic. They faced challenges together, their bond strengthened by adversity, their love a constant source of support. They navigated the complexities of their relationships, their roles evolving as Hope grew, their love adapting to the changing needs of their family. The locket, a symbol of the mysterious connection between Lily and Hope, remained a cherished keepsake, a reminder of the journey that had brought them together, a testament to the enduring power of love that transcended the boundaries of life and death. Amelia often told Hope stories of Lily, her voice filled with love and longing, her words painting a picture of a vibrant and loving child, her spirit living on in their hearts. The story of Amelia, Hope, and Clara is a testament to the enduring power of love, the resilience of the human spirit, and the transformative nature of grief. It is a story about finding hope in the midst of despair, creating family in unexpected ways, and discovering the strength to move forward after loss, to embrace new beginnings, to find joy in the midst of sorrow. It is a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always the possibility of light, healing, and new beginnings. That sometimes the greatest gifts come from the most unexpected places, that loss can lead to love, that grief can pave the way to gratitude, that family can be found in the most unlikely of circumstances. It is a story about the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome adversity, to find strength in vulnerability, to create beauty from ashes. It is a story about the transformative power of love to heal wounds, to build bridges, to unite hearts, to create a future filled with hope and possibility. And it is a story that reminds us that even in death, love lives on, that the bonds we forge in life transcend the boundaries of time and space, that the memories we cherish illuminate our path, and that the love we share shapes our destiny.